Okay, Sonicstate here at NAMM 2020, and we're at the Singular Sound booth with David. Now, this has got my mouth watering. This is the AEROS Loop Studio. Big fan of loopers, but this has got quite a few tricks up its sleeve, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the world's most advanced looper.
Big claim?
Yes, it is, and we're going to back it up.
Okay, back it up then.
All right, so this is the first looper to have visual feedback. I'm just going to use this microphone as an audio source, so I'm just going to speak on it, and I'll show you how it works. You see these little record buttons? I'm going to press the record button, and now as you see, it's got a waveform being displayed on the screen. So that makes it much easier when you want to see where you are in the loop. I'm going to close the loop. As you see, all the loops are closing on the measure line. So you can hit that button anytime in the last measure of your loop, and it'll close exactly at the right time. Yeah. Most other loopers, they work, they quantize to the beat. So you have to be within like a fraction of a second of that last beat of the loop, which makes it very difficult to do looping. So this makes it much easier.
And do you have control and how the granularity of how that loop out works?
How it what?
Yeah, so did you say that so it's in the bar? But can you make
that?
Can you predefine that you want to start it and it will record a set amount of bars?
No, you don't preset it to record a certain length, because that would lock you into whatever you preset it. It's the idea here is that you record things and loop things live. So whenever you want it to close the loop, you just tap the button in the last measure of the loop, and it'll close it exactly at the right time, which makes it much easier. So we've got one loop recorded here. Now I'm going to add let's say I want to add a harmony on that loop. I'm going to press the overdub button, and as you see, now there's a yellow waveform being displayed across that loop. So that is a second layer on that top loop. I'm going to stop overdubbing, and now you see that waveform turns green. Below it, there's the original waveform of the blue layer. Now, let's say I made a mistake on that harmony and I want to undo it. I just hold down the button. You see that waveform faded out. Now it's a dark green, and there's a little hole in the progress clock of the track. If I overdub again, then it's going to get rid of that undone waveform and replace it with the new recorded waveform. But let's say I want to bring it back. I just hold it down again, and now it's back. It redoes it. You could also undo both layers of the track. If I hold it down, it first undoes the first, and keep on holding it, and now it undid the second. So you see that hole in the clock got big. That means both layers are undone. Now if I press record, it'll get rid of that entire waveform, it'll record a brand new track. So you can have an unlimited number of overdub layers on top of it, on top of each track, but of course the overdubs are limited to the length of that loop. Every time you go around, it'll just do another layer. Let's say I have a 2-measure rhythm section, and I want a 4-measure, solo or something. I could use the bottom track, and now I can make this track completely independent length of the top track. So you see it says 3, and now 4 counts up the measures, so it makes it very easy. You know how long you've been recording. And now I've got, if you see the progress clocks, you see this one is going twice as fast as this one, because this one is twice as long. Another cool feature, if you hold down this left button here, you come into the mixer. Now you could adjust with your foot, hands-free, with this volume wheel. You could adjust the individual track levels. To go to the other track, you press the middle button, select, and now you could adjust that track. You could also do a mute, and you see that turns gray. And this is the master volume. If I exit the mixer, you see the bottom track is now gray because it's muted, and I could unmute it right here. Just press it, unmute. There's also a little shortcut to the muting function. If I double tap the button, it'll mute it, and I could unmute it with a single tap, so I don't need to go into the mixer to mute it. Now this is the first looper in the world that has a song part structure, because most musicians like to actually do songs. They're not just looping. Most compositions are in a song part format.
This is what's got me excited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was a big deal for me, because I'm a singer-songwriter, and that's how I do music.
You don't just write a big long verse.
Exactly. You have verse, you have chorus, you have bridge. So in this mode, we have 2 song parts. This is what we call 2x2. You have 2 parallel tracks and 2 song parts. You see that little green dot in the upper left corner? If I want to do a chorus, this is my verse. If I want to do a chorus, I just press the next part button, and at the end of the measure, it starts recording a new song part, as represented by this second green dot. I'm going to close that loop. Now, if I want to go back to the verse, I just do the same exact thing, just press the next part button, and it brings back that original part that I was recording. So you can go back and forth in the verse and the chorus. Makes it a lot more dynamic. Now, I'm going to clear the song, and I'm going to show you a more advanced mode of using the AEROS. That was 2x2 mode, as I mentioned. That was 2 tracks and 2 song parts each. I'm going to do 6x6, where we have 6 parallel tracks and up to 6 song parts. And this is a lot more powerful, gives you a lot more options, of course, but it works slightly differently. Because we wanted to keep it a small form factor, so it's not like a massive, huge pedal board like some other loopers on the market that everyone hates carrying around to gigs because they weigh a ton and take up all the room in your gig bag. Yeah. So we wanted to keep this nice and small. So the way we accomplish 6 parallel tracks, which by the way is more than any other looper, and as well as 6 song parts, which no other looper has any, is in this system. Let me show you. I'm going to press record. Now I'm recording my first track. I'm going to close that loop. Now, if I want a new track, I just press the middle button, and it'll do it'll queue up the next track to start recording. I could record this, record it however long I want. Now, let's say I want another one. Just press next track, and I don't even have to wait until it's close the loop. I could just press next track automatically, and it'll automatically start playing that first one and start recording a new one.
That's
so
cool.
It's just a single button press. So now you see I've got 5 tracks going all at once, and of course, as you record the tracks, the mixer gets filled out, and you're able to adjust each track individually. Now those song parts work the same way. Oh, before I go into there, let me show you how the tracks work. So let's say I want to go back to the first track. I just press next track again, and it cycles back up. I can go, you see it goes in order, and now I could overdub on that. I could go to the next one and mute it. So I'm able to control each individual track in that way. If I want to go to a new song part, it's the same method. I just press select part, it lights up that plus sign. I press record, and it starts recording a new track, a new song part. And if I press it again, light up again, the plus sign, and I could record another new song part. And I could continue to record new song parts all the way up to 6. But let's say I want to go back to the first part. I just press the select part, press it again, and it goes back to the first one. And now I could bring back that song part that I had recorded again. Yeah. So you have a huge capability of doing multiple part arrangements when you're looping live, which has never been possible to do before. So it's a much more musical, a much more song-centered type of looper.
So some of these like looping ninjas you see out there who do amazing stuff with existing stuff. My goodness, what can they do with this?
They can do pretty much anything they want.
Brilliant. Okay, so a few technical questions I've got then. Ins and outs and that kind of thing.
Yes.
What we got?
So we've got here. Let me show you on the back here. I'll unplug it. So we've got 2 1/4" left and right in, 2 1/4" left and right out, and as well as MIDI in, MIDI out, expression pedal in, as well as stereo in aux audio and stereo out aux audio. Now you could plug instruments into here, you could plug 2 different instruments into here if you like, and it all gets recorded.
It all gets recorded, the aux-in records.
Exactly. I mean, you could set it to
So talking about the SD card then, you can save all your loops
yes.
and everything that you've made?
Yes, you can save all your loops and transfer them from the internal memory to the SD card.
Okay.
Internally, it stores up to 3 hours of 24-bit mono recordings or an hour and a half of 24-bit stereo recordings. It stores all audio in 24-bit, so it's studio-level recording.
Okay.
You could transfer the internal recordings to the SD card, With the SD card, you can store up to 48 hours of mono recording with a $10 32 gigabyte SD card. So practically unlimited recording. And you could take everything saved in a standard WAV file format, and each song has its own folder on the SD card, so that you can easily find all the WAV files that you recorded for that particular song, and you could drag and drop it from the SD card to your DAW for further editing and production.
Okay, so for things like setting up a stereo track or a mono track, how does it differentiate between that?
Between stereo and mono?
Yeah.
Just in the settings.
Okay.
You'll set it to either record in stereo or record in mono.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And Wi-Fi as well.
Yes. So this is the first pedal, not just looper, but first pedal period in the world to include a Wi-Fi connection. And that allows you, see right here, we've got Wi-Fi. You just choose from your Wi-Fi network, just like on your phone. And once you're connected, this update section will tell you whether or not there's a new firmware update available for download. When there's a new, you don't even have to check this. It will, if there is a new firmware update and you're connected to Wi-Fi, it'll just give you a little pop-up on the screen. Not while you're playing, it won't do that. We made sure not to interrupt anyone's looping time. Yeah. But while it's stopped, as soon as there's a new firmware update, there's a little pop-up just like on your phone. You just press the button and it downloads it automatically. And we're coming out with new firmware updates every 2 to 3 weeks. Right now, as people request new settings and new ways of looping, we're adding in all these features on a consistent basis, and it's available immediately for everyone to download. You don't even have to go search the website to see if it had been posted. Like I know with a lot of gear, well, if a company even updates their pedals at all, which many companies do not, then even if they do, you have to go search on their website, see if it's been posted. Often you can go months and you don't even realize there was something that was posted months ago that solved that particular issue you had or improved it in a way that you want.
Well, Singular Sound have actually proved themselves with good updates with the Beat Buddy.
Yes,
so some significant updates over that product. Yeah. So available.
It's available now.
It's available now.
It's available now.
All right.
Singular. Oh, I don't have my. There on singularsound.com. There you go.
Okay, and how much is it, please?
So the looper is $599 street price US.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, David. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Fantastic.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you guys.